Baby, baby!
to 96.9. It is All FM. It's Wednesday Drive Time Show with me, Kieran. On the line, I have the legendary guitarist musician from the number one rock and roll band Slade, Dave Hill. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing great, Kieran.
Oh, thanks.
Looking forward to this. 50 years of the Christmas song.
Yeah.
Come and feel the noise. So it's a special time.
Absolutely, yeah. So like 50 years. So I've got to ask you, does it feel like 50 years, or has it gone in the blink of an eye? Where you look back and you think, it can't be 50 years.
No. Well, it is amazing, really. I mean, obviously, looking back at my life, which has been surrounded by music ever since I was 18. So I was quite young then, and that was in around about the time the Beatles made it. So actually, I've been actually playing guitar ever since that. So the business of the hits, of course, came much later in my life. And obviously, with the situation with the Christmas song, that was something that we never realised the immensity of it. We were just having one heck of a year in '73 with number ones, and then the Christmas song came along, which we thought was a good idea. So, I mean, when I consider, as you've just asked me, how the time flies. Now, the older you get, in my case, I'm 77.
Wow.
I mean, I was probably 40 odd when I went and reformed Slade in 1992. And I thought, I'll give it a couple of years back on the road because two of the band had left. But it led to an amazing journey, because in the days of Nod and Jim and Don, there were certain places we'd never been to.
Right.
So I think in many ways, what occupied me over all the business with the Christmas song was that I was travelling to Russia, East Bloc countries, faraway places, Australia and all that sort of thing. So the years seemed to roll by because I thought, well, I'm not having a good time here, because it wasn't easy for me to go out without Nod being such a great singer and frontman.
Sure.
But the point is, I had Nod's blessing on this because I spoke to him about it before I did it. And Nod and I are very close to each other as good friends and share a lot of memories. Yeah. So occasionally he'll ask me where you've been, and I'm amazed, and it's always great to tell him. I said, you won't believe in the reaction to Far, Far Away or My, these other hits that we had. I said in certain countries, and I think in a way the 50 years has rolled away somehow, because if you're active, you're playing, you're still driven to be a part of this.
Absolutely,
fantastic band. And I mean, I'm not just singing our praises, but we made such a mark in history.
Oh, absolutely,
So I have great joy, and the years have rolled by because each year people say, it's your time of year again, Dave. I said, well, it's funny that, because my time of year is all year, because I'm playing abroad. And it's funny how people look at it, because it's the same abroad as well, you see. Christmas song had such great impact that you get promoters wanting you to play it in the middle of summer.
I bet they do.
So, but I haven't. The 2 years when I went back on the road, it just carried on, and then I met an agent who's been with me all a long time, and she's a nice lady named Abby, and she's looked after me on the road, and it's been a joy actually. It's I've got some nice guys around me too. We're a happy band.
Yeah, it's a happy family kind of thing, and I think that's the important
thing. Well, it's very much like that, Kieran, because when you're on the road, and most groups will tell you this, everybody goes through stuff on the road.
Yeah.
You might get one of you, like I was. I was depressed for 2 years one time because I'd had a situation where I had an operation that made me insecure. Right. But I got well in the end.
Yeah.
But sometimes things happen in your life and you have a setback like COVID, which caused me to get a bit depressed again. But I'm all right now. I'm in a really good place now. And looking at this year and this tour that we're doing, I think will bring a lot of joy to people who want to remember 50 years ago when they were very young. Absolutely. Buying Slade records.
Yeah, I'd like to see, absolutely, and as well, like everything that we've been through as a population with the COVID and stuff like that, what with the 2 lockdowns and stuff like that, we suffered without the arts, the entertainment industry, the music, and,
I mean, something I'll tell you about in a minute. when we got trapped in COVID, it was the weirdest thing, Ian, because all of a sudden, no one wanted you. No one was calling you.
No.
Because there were no gigs.
No.
So there's no promoters.
No.
And London closed all its theatres. You barely went out and you wore a mask. You know, it was almost like a plague that happened to the country. It was a bit like, oh, don't touch that person because you're going to get, you know, it sounded like something from the Bible, you know, when people called things, you know, the plague and sort of things that happened to people in Bible times, you know, oh, you know, mark your door, you've got this disease or something and you'll die. And it was like that. And I said, my wife took up puzzles and this and that just to keep occupied. And I thought, well, you know what, I've been writing these songs for a solo album for many years now. And I thought this is an opportunity for me to work on them. Yeah. So I'd learned how to use Logic on Apple stuff. So I just sat down and I started to use the drums on the loops, and I just started to write more songs and play bass on it, play piano, and guitar. And I was just sitting there in my room, you know, and I saw my daughter walking past the window occasionally because she lives next door, and I was warbling in a microphone. I had to shut the door so the wife didn't hear that one. and I was almost in a bubble, and it was almost quite pleasant. I thought, you know what, we can't go on holiday. And this is like a weird holiday, and it was hot, if you remember.
Yeah, well, it's weird. I mean, it's amazing what you're capable of when you are in that situation. It, like, you know, because like you said, you know, a lot of musicians just felt that I got really productive in that period, and I got my head down and stuff like that. So it is amazing what, you know, these sort of trying times what do to us. You can either sink or you can swim.
We're most certainly the sort of, I mean, the British people, and it's true to say, when there's something big happening, they come together. British people going way, way back. As far as I remember, obviously I don't go back to the First World War, you know, when my dad was a young man.
Yeah.
And he told me about the First World War, how Britain pulled together. But primarily the Second World War was, you look at Britain, or any footage of the people that were living with the war, and the women were doing the men's jobs, they're out in the fields, the guys were going away, and some of them never came back.
Yeah.
And the country, when I was born in 1946, the country was a wreck, and I wouldn't have known because I wasn't old enough to know it. But it was a wreck of the country. London was bombed, Coventry had disappeared, and most places like factories have been blown up and all that sort of stuff. So it was a hell of a time to come out of that.
Yeah.
And then growing up in the late 40s into the 50s, you know, things started to get rebuilt and change. And of course, we started to watch movies on the cinema, and we saw America, and America looked like, God, they're having a good time. There's all these, you know, pop stars and movie stars, which we got besotted with cowboys and all that. That's what we were used to watch. And bit by bit, the council estates were built, and the environment became very friendly, unlike today, which is not so friendly.
Yeah, I know.
On the council estates, we had schools around the estate. We had, whatever happened, most people got the same money. So you didn't have any big-time Christmases, and you didn't have a car. You know, most people never had a car.
Yeah.
And I grew up, and I think it's also a lot to do with me as a person and the band members of what they grew up with their parents.
Yeah.
Coming through war, being on rations, and bringing us up. I think we had a good grounding in proper families who stayed together, and there wasn't really anybody getting divorced when I was young. Most people stuck it out, even if they didn't get on with a partner. They stuck it out for the kids. So I, and every member of Slade, has had a very, very good upbringing with solid parents. And my parents, you know, they were good to me. And of course, I ended up, you know, asking them the questions, I wanted to turn professional. And then they knew I could play guitar well, and Dad liked it, and he said, well, give it a go, son. So I was 18 then, and that started probably what I would say is my journey in 1963, right through to now.
Yeah. Well, I've always found that as well as a band. You know, like you said, the word grounded there. You're totally got. You never seem to go as a band be impressed by the glam lights of whatever it was. All and now I think you're more sort of Brummy than ever. Do you know what I mean? More Birmingham, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, we'd like to say Midland.
Midland, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of this area is called the Black Country because of all the factories and the smoke.
Yeah,
because that's what it was like going to work in the old days, you know.
Yeah.
There was always, factories. Everybody had got a job, and if you hadn't got a job, you were lazy. You know, it was a bit like that when I was a kid, you know. Yeah. You've got to have a job straight out of school. You know?
Absolutely.
So I think the area, you're right about Birmingham, because Birmingham had Black Sabbath, they had ELO, they were friends of ours. We were all coming through this situation where bands were making it.
Yeah.
There was Roy Wood, Wizard, and it was, the area in the Midlands is very strong. It was a bit like Liverpool when the Beatles made it, and then all these other bands made it in Liverpool. And it was a bit like that. Because there were lots of young bands when I was a kid, when I was first formed the band. There were lots of bands just playing hotels and pubs and things like that. And then bit by bit they all got jobs and disappeared, you see. But we stuck it out. And then obviously, the rest of it.
Yeah, history kind of thing. I'm always interested to know. I mean, one of my favourites is "Come On, Feel the Noise," along with "My Oh My." That's two of my sort of favourite songs. But with songs like "Come On, Feel the Noise," do you remember sort of the first time of recording that? Was just obviously it was a special song, but did you feel that at that time when within the producer, or was it at a certain gig? Or a certain event where you played it and the audience just went nuts?
Actually we didn't. We rehearsed it, because we always rehearsed the songs before we then would go to chat as our producer and manager to say we've got this song. We've all learnt it. We might go down to his farm in Surrey and play it. It got this a barn, and we used to go in there playing stuff, and he'd pick up on it. But that "Come On, Feel the Noise," I mean, bearing in mind that came after "Mama We're All Crazy Now" and all that.
Yeah.
I think we were leading to something like that song, and I think there is something in that song that's very Beatley as well. Very,
yes,
she loves you, or and that kind of stuff. Very repetitive. The chord sequences in it are like majors and minors. I'm not trying to be technical here. Rock and roll is often 3 chords, but there were more chords in that song. But the thing about it is, you don't waste any time when you listen to it. It kicks off right away.
Straight away, yeah.
And you're right in there. And with Nod's powerful voice, I remember when the record company got hold of the record, they were jumping like I don't know what. And then Top of the Pops heard it. This is before it came out.
Yeah.
And Top of the Pops said, we've got to have them on, that's going to be a number 1, And it was like, I know it's one of Noel Gallagher's favourite songs as well, because he used to watch us on TV, him and Liam. He was always on about us, because I've met him. And they covered it in the end. But with us, we went down to Top of the Pops, and I'd got this outrageous costume. In most cases, most of them were outrageous, but this one was particularly outrageous. And I thought, well, I've got to really give this a good kick, this record. See, so Radio 1's playing it. It's about to be released. We do Top of the Pops on Wednesday, and then you watch it on Thursday, right? And then the weekend sales will designate where it'll be in the charts on the following Tuesday. So I went down with this crazy outfit, which I thought was Egyptian, but somebody called me a metal nun. But I went into the toilet of the Top of the Pops dressing room, and Nod was knocking on the door saying, "Reveal all, Mr. H," to call me out to you. And he said, "Come out and see what I was going to wear," you see. Yeah. Chas Chandler's sitting there, and I don't suppose you've seen this advert, but there used to be an advert years ago for mashed potatoes, and it was done by metal.
I do. I remember, David. Listen, I'm not that young, you know. I'm 48, so you know. 74. I was born.
When I came out, it was almost like they lay back on the floor and started giggling, and it was so funny because I come out and I said, "Oh, it's Egyptian," and Chas Chandler says, "Oh, it's freaking great, Dave." He said, "We'll have another number one," you say. I said, "Well, yeah," and I was looking at Jim and not at the write them. I said, "You write them and I'll sell them," and I knew how important Top of the Pops was because you could go on Top of the Pops, and if you look a bit, you know, not so good or you don't come over well, you could affect your record sales. But also, you know, with Nod's top hat and all the rest of it. So we went marching on the TV, right? And the cameras always do a rehearsal for your costumes so they can check where the cameras are. And of course, I've got this massive long black frock with all circular mirrors on it, reflecting lights at the cameras. So I really was pulling the stroke there. I thought, what have I got to do? Because as I twisted, the camera's lights would flash lights off my costume, as well as the glitter.
Yeah.
And so I was marching around the thing, and then Rod Stewart was number one, you see. And of course, the following day, there was like, it was just like when people had sorted, not the following day, I think it was just a bit later, it'd be the following week. Everybody'd seen Top of the Pops. They went crazy to buy it, and on Tuesday it went straight to number one. And I think there was something in the paper, and not quite sure who said it. It was probably one of the faces, and they said, "Yeah, Slade knocked us off the top of the chart." She said, and the person to be blamed is me, you know, for going on there with that ridiculous costume. And I think the point is, with Slade, it's always been fun, Kieran. The time, I mean, I know you're 40 odd, right? But obviously you were a great deal younger. When were you born?
74 I was born, 12th of December, 1974.
Right, so you came in on the big years.
Yeah.
But of course you picked up on it later, and you obviously had parents who were probably buying the stuff, so you probably know all about it. But the thing is that at that time, the impact of us that year was immense. I mean, we couldn't go anywhere. We were big all over the world except America.
Yeah, like Beatlemania kind of thing, yeah. Yeah,
but that song, I mean, and then we started to play it live. I mean, we always had to do it at the end of the show. We'd probably come on and do an encore, right? And you've got fans going crazy and they're waiting for it. And of course, you know, by the end of the year, along comes the Christmas song. You know, we're doing a tour at the end of the year. And it's a bit like this song is like, oh, well, we hope this does well. You know, it wasn't like a guaranteed massive hit, but it got a follow noise. You see, and what follows noise is the difficult thing because noise was massive, and then along comes almost like a beam of light, you know, like Star Trek.
Yeah.
So Star Trek flashed beams at us. It was almost like you couldn't believe quite what was happening.
No. Well, that's it, and that's the magic of the song. And sort of like with Merry Christmas, everybody, as well. I think that the reason why sort of people sort of like took, because there's such love. Not only is it just a great sort of rock and roll sort of song to get you up dancing and stuff like that, but it's a very heartfelt song as well. Some lovely lines in it. Does your granny teach you that the old songs are the best? And I think that's what it was. I think people just had it in their hearts and could relate to that.
You know, that's a very good comment, Kieran. You've really got to grips with what people have thought about that song. I think it's not a Jingle Bells song. It's a song about what people do at Christmas. Yeah. And it's sort of like, I know Christmas can be quite religious, and I understand that too. But in this case, a record like this comes out at a time when England was on a bit of a low. Yeah. And then it's a song that doesn't mention, well, it doesn't have Jingle Bells, and it isn't White Christmas, Bing Crosby, but it's a rock song. And it had this brazen thing about it where Nod Balls It's Christmas at the end of the track, a bit sort of like it's here right now, and people coming around, you know, hoping there's enough room inside the house to cope with the family. And you know what people are like at Christmas, you know, what he bought me and all that, you know, the kind of stuff that happens, or somebody don't like something, or
bring them socks back.
but that was it. But Nod actually, I remember him saying he went to his dad's house, because Nod grew up in a council estate as well, and he went to his dad's house, and he had a few beers, and he thought, I've got to write the lyrics to this tune. And I think there was a few lyrics on the table from Jim Lee, you know, you ain't getting up your stocking. But Nod really nailed it. Absolutely. Because he's very good with the lyrics, it's not. But he put it in a way of what the working people do, you know, how they work hard all week, and then they want the weekend to get out of the pub or something. And at Christmas time, they want the family around, because that's what it's all about. And I think the lyrics of Santa Claus and, you know, what did your daddy do? That's exactly.
Yeah, it resonates, doesn't it? Absolutely.
It's almost a nursery rhyme as well, you know, about sort of, you know, mommy kissing Santa Claus when it's your dad, you know.
Yeah. And was that song as well? Was that recorded in John Lennon's studio as well? Did John Lennon one day just cancel some sessions, and you guys went in and went, oh, we'll record a Christmas song?
Well, he actually did us a favour, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
We were in New York, and it was poorly hot.
Wow.
And Chaz remembered that Nod had mentioned a Christmas song to him. He said, well, we've got a week off, I'll check out some studios, he said. And he checks out the record plant, which is where John Lennon records in New York. And he said, funny thing, he says, John Lennon's decided to cancel a week. He's not going to record. He said, and I've decided to take it, we'll go. And it uplifted us because it was something to do for a week. And we didn't really know the song then. And I learnt it standing on my feet in the studio all day, going through chords, going through ideas, and the way I play guitar. So each of us put something into it. Nod sung it, Jim played bass, and we rehearsed it like a rehearsal, and then we put it to tape. And I mean, it was hilarious, really. But the other thing that John Lennon's harmonium is on it.
Oh,
it was in, if you listen to the intro where it goes
right,
you'll hear a harmonium, and it weaves in and out of the track all the way through to the end, and that's John Lennon's harmonium. So in a way, not only did he cancel the studio, but we also used his harmonium because the engineer knew him, so he said, oh, this will be all right. And Chaz was a mate of John Lennon anyway.
So it's all right to
use. You know, the 60s and all that.
Yeah.
And it was a bit like, and I know John Lennon really rated Nod's voice, because John Lennon said to Chaz, I like him, he sounds like me. That's a true story.
Well, yeah, because I suppose, look at it, they have that kind of rough exterior, you know, the gruffness to the voice, didn't they? That kind of, the two of them,
Well, you know, until the Beatles came off the road, Lennon always had that gruff in his voice, and it was almost driven. John was a very driven person, and with McCartney's smoothness and Lennon's roughness, you got the combination of two writers there. One with a cynical attitude, which was probably John. Paul with melodies. I think the combination of the two is, you know, I think there was a song Getting Better. And Lennon puts the lyric, you know, I think it's getting better all the time.
Yeah.
And John says, well, it can't get any worse. I thought, I quite like this guy because, you know, he puts something in, you know, because, you know, Liverpool people are so funny.
Their sense of humour, it's just,
even the tea ladies, I mean, you can't compete with them when they start telling you jokes. It's so funny in Liverpool. but I think the combination of doing this in the studio, and it was funny doing the backing vocals because people were coming to work in the office block, and we were singing Merry Christmas, and it was July, and they thought we were a bunch of nutters, you know, like, what's that bunch of nutters here? So, and they're going, oh my God, what crazy people here, what are they, you know? Who are you? We're Slade. Who's Slade? I said, well, we're an English group. Oh, you're English, are you? Oh, that's it.
Probably explains it, yeah.
People. He says, 100 degrees outside, are you mad?
Yeah.
They didn't realise quite what we were doing.
Yeah.
We were, in a way, creating history with a one song.
I know, absolutely. You were, yeah. How did you... as well as a band, how did you, when you did sort of like hit the big time with these hits and stuff like that, how did you feel about like the music papers at the time as regards to sort of like, I don't know, whoever it was writing about your Melody Maker, Enemy or whatever, right, saying, you know, because you were sort of like, people, when written about you, is sort of like this glam rock or stuff like that, were you alright in sort of like, did you feel that they put you into a box, or were you sort of quite happy with that, or?
Well, bearing in mind colour television came in, and your dad would remember this anyway. When you were born, you wouldn't know, you'd only seen colour. But in your dad's generation, he would know they had a black and white telly when he was younger. And then when colour television came in, anything you wore would be seen as the real deal. So therefore, if I was wearing bright clothes and things like that, it came across glamorous in a way. But because we were a great rock and roll band, there's always going to be a press tag on you. People do try putting you in genres or boxes or whatever you like to call it. But it wasn't insulting, because I feel that the 60s was a black and white era in television. The only time you saw colour was in the movies.
Yeah.
But 70s was a good era in England. You know, we'd gone from building the country, winning the World Cup in the 60s, and we got the Beatles and Stones. And then we moved into the 70s, and we learned from all those people. And then we brought something new to the table. And what we did bring was colour. Most of the 60s band wore suits and ties. Even the Beatles did. But the late 60s become hippie. It become, you know, there was a lot of dope about in America. There was all sorts of stuff going on in the late 60s. But it came, along come Mark Bolan, who made it before us, and he was very charismatic person and got corkscrewy hair, and he just got a look about him which was gold in a way, and I was quite influenced by him in taking it much further. So I saw what he was doing, and I knew that I always liked wearing unusual things because I try things out and make clothes. I made some of the clothes at Dad's house, you know, mucking about with spray cans, you know, spraying things silver, using car paint, you know, and it's a lot of daft things I was doing. But the glitter thing, it brought, you know, the word androgynous, you know, which I never knew what that meant, but almost a cross between male and female.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think the clothes became like that in the late 60s, where men grew their hair and looked like women, and in the 60s, men had short hair. You wouldn't get a job if you got long hair. No. But in the late 60s, all of a sudden, long hair became very fashionable. It wasn't about skinhead cuts. It wasn't about dead short hair. And it was this kind of free love time, and I think all that captured my imagination.
Well,
you know, everybody started, you know, it was sort of, it was a happy time, and moving into the 70s, I think because the late 60s become very indulgent with bands playing long guitar solos, and it was post-Vietnam in America, and there was a lot of groups, you know, going on about, you know, Woodstock and all that going on. But the 70s was a return to, in a way, a formula that the Beatles had, which was writing a song, you know, I think Roxette said it, don't bore us, get to the chorus. And I think Slade did great verses, but the chorus really kicked in as
it became an anthem.
Yeah. And I think that was the thing about the Glam thing, was purely the tag, purely, these I was called Super Yob and all sorts of things because I had a car with a Yob 1 plate, and I put it on a Rolls Royce, and my publicist Keith Hawthorne, he said, Yobby, Super Yob, like a joke, and suddenly, that's a good idea. I'll have some costumes made with that on.
Yeah.
And it was always flash.
Yeah.
I remember Bucks Fizz saying to me,
well, this is it, and this is what I think, because I'm sort of like early 80s sort of child when I got into the music, and not, obviously it was the music that drove me to it, and I liked and stuff like that, but more importantly like that came the visuals, because like you said with Bucks Fizz, that's the kind of thing, the first sort of thing I remember sort of seeing. And the visuals of it and the colour, it was colourful. You had the colourful jumpers and Adam and the Ants as well. Do you know what I mean? Adam Ant. Yeah. I mean, still to these days when I watch them videos back, they were something else. The visuals.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Jay was 11 years of age when she saw me on TV, and she's at Bucks Fizz, and she says to me, "I used to just tune in, not necessarily to hear the song you brought up,
just the outfits."
And I thought that was quite funny, actually, what you're going to wear. But I think the impact of it is, do you know the way I like the impact of a costume? I don't like the tag. The melody maker was very good for us, and the enemy and sounds. And there was something Mirror, I seem to remember, was another, because you had a lot of trade papers in those days, and then you had the national newspapers as well. And I think the combination of the trades is, when we started to really happen in the 70s, became a massive draw of people, there were some famous writers. One was Nick Kent, and he wrote for the NME.
Yeah, I've heard that name. Yeah.
Do you know that name?
Yeah.
And he was quite, I mean, he usually tells it like it is, but we saw us at Olympic, we'd done this place in London, and I think Bowie played it before we did, and we sold it out, and Nick Kent was there, and they were filming it, and he wrote in the enemy, "This is the most important band of our time," and coming from him, that was a real compliment, to be honest with you, because press can be, you can be really successful. Sometimes the press can actually
drag you down.
They can drag you down.
Yeah.
I've just got to be mindful of time, by the way, Kieran.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, well, I'm coming to a finish now anyway. So yeah, we'll quickly mention the tour. It's going to kick off in Newcastle on Sunday, the 3rd of December. There's 9 dates to the tour. I'm a little bit disappointed there's no Manchester dates on this, but I'll let you off, Dave, anyway.
I'm a bit disappointed about that as well.
You can make up the next time.
Yeah, well, there'll always be a next time.
Yeah.
I mean, we could play in Manchester sometime in the year. I mean, I truly love Manchester. It's a great place.
Yeah.
And we always played that in the original band. And usually even this version of the band that we played Manchester most is No 2 places or something like that. I can't remember which one it was. There was a place called Free Trade Hall. Do you ever heard of that place?
Oh yeah, that's long gone now, the Free Trade Hall. But
that was a mega gig. That was Free Trade Hall.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Manchester's great, and it's great to do radio there as well.
Yeah.
But as I say, we're trying to do X amount of dates because I like to cherry pick how much I can do, because we're not the sort of band that stands on stage and looks at the floor. I'm moving around and I sweat a lot, so to be honest with you, 10 shows is more than enough for me, but I think it'll capture something that's quite special this year. And hopefully everybody will enjoy it.
And it's finishing off
we won't be boring, we'll be going to the choruses.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's finishing off on the Saturday, the 23rd of December, at Birmingham as well. You probably get a lot of people trying to get on the way on the guest list on that as well.
Yes, mostly my family.
Yeah. I know when I interviewed Sean Ryder, he from the Happy Monday, he's just like, whenever they come to Manchester, half the audience is at like the guest list kind of thing. So,
yeah, there's mom and dad and sister and all that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's-
Well,
no, my dad
listen,
used to-
Dave,
I
you
mean,
you
okay,
have.
carry on, mate.
Yeah, you have a listen. I want to say you have a great tour. Before I let you go, what are you actually doing Christmas Day? What anything sort of special this year, or just the usual in the Dave Hill household?
I might be ready for bed, but
I know you'd be tired after this
I
tour.
mean, to be honest with you, I'm probably next door at my daughter's because she'll lay on a spread for us, so the
lovely.
wife doesn't have to cook the turkey.
Yeah, yeah.
And she'll know that I've just completed the tour on Christmas Eve, so she will be sorting that one out with that dad. So I'll just be sitting there, probably slightly adrift.
Oh, lovely. Well, listen, you learn a good day off of drinking and feeding yourself anyway. So, listen, have a great tour. Like I said, it kicks off Sunday the 3rd of December in Newcastle, finishes up in Birmingham, Saturday the 23rd of December. On them dates, you're doing Sheffield, Southampton, Margate, Oxford and everything. So, sounds like it's going to be a blast. Have a great tour, Dave. Have a great Christmas and have a happy New Year in 2024. I wish you all the best. And whenever you're in Manchester, give us the nod and I'll be there.
Right. I like how you say, give us the nod.
You know what? I didn't even think of that. I was just like, oh.
That's a good. Yes, and I'd like to wish you all the things you wish me, just. And I think have a really nice time. And let's hope things improve for us next year when things have been so difficult this
Absolutely.
year.
Yeah. Let's raise a toast to it, Dave. God bless you. You take care, mate.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye now. Bye.